everyone, welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking to you about the simple present tense. The simple present tense is used for 1. Habitual actions or recurring events, things that are done regularly, like people celebrate Christmas on December 25th every year. I teach English every day. She goes for a run in the park twice a week. 2. General truths or scientific facts. For example, China has the largest population in the world. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. 3. Narrating sequential events like personal experiences, jokes, historical events. For example, a man goes to a restaurant and orders soup. He sees a fly in it. He goes like, "Waiter, there's a fly in my soup." The waiter's like, "Oh, don't worry, it can swim." 4. Literature. All the books we can actually talk about have been written in the past. Some even date back to hundreds of years ago. For example, Harry Potter is a series of 7 fantasy novels written by British author J.K. Rowling. The novels chronicle the lives of young wizard Harry Potter and his friends Hermione Granger and Ron Weasley, the Golden Trio. 5. Future with a time word or expression. For example, he has a flight on Monday. Oh look, we only have 1 hour. The train leaves at 2:30.
Okay, let's discuss the structure of the simple present tense, starting with affirmative statements. The subjects I, you, we, they use the simple or base form of the verb. Third person singular subjects she, he, it use verb plus s. For example, I go for a walk every day. Jenny's dad works at the hospital. We have lunch at 2:30 every day. There are certain spelling rules on how to add s for a third person singular. If a verb ends in ch, sh, o, z, s, or x, then add es. For example, watch, watches, wash, washes, do, does, buzz, buzzes, miss, misses, fix, fixes. If a verb ends in consonant plus y, the ending will be ies. What are consonants? A quick reminder. Sounds like a, e, o, a, I, u, a, oi, I, and are vowels. The rest of the sounds are consonants. P, b, k, ch, t, and the rest. For example, carry, carries. There is a consonant sound before y, r. So we change y to I. Fly changes to flies. L is a consonant sound. If a verb ends in vowel plus y, only add an s, like play, plays. Before y, we have the e sound. If a verb ends in e, then of course you'll only add s. Take, takes. The verb have is irregular and changes to has. Moving on to negative statements. The subjects I, you, we, they use do not or don't plus the simple form of the verb. Third person singular subjects she, he, and it use does not or doesn't plus the base form of the verb. For example, I don't play basketball. It doesn't rain much in a desert. Sue and David don't have a car. In standard and formal English, make sure never to use does or doesn't with a verb that ends in s or es, because when a verb is in its third person singular form, for example, eats, it already includes a does. Like eats is actually in nature does plus eat. When you're using this verb negatively, you're actually subtracting the does, so all that remains is the base form of the verb, eat. For example, he doesn't work at night. Moving on to yes-no questions. For I, you, we, and they, you start with do, then you use your subject, and you use the base form of the verb in the rest of your question. Short answers will be yes, I, you, we, they do, or no, I, you, we, they don't. Small reminder, don't forget to use a comma after yes and no in short answers. Examples. Do you live downtown? No, I don't. For she, he, and it, you start with does, then you use your subject, then you use the base form of the verb. Remember that you should use the base form of the verb as mentioned above. The short answers would be yes, she, he, it does, or no, she, he, it doesn't. For example, does your brother play the guitar? Yes, he does. Next up, WH questions. WH question words are what, when, where, who, whom, which, whose, why, and how. You start with your WH question word, then you use do or does, then the subject, then the base form of the verb. For example, where do you live? What does this word mean? Now, a very critical point here is that in the simple present tense, when the WH question word is the subject, which means you're asking a question about a subject, do not use the auxiliaries do or does. You know, auxiliaries are helping verbs. For example, what happens when you press this button? You know, something happens, right? So what happens? Something happens. What here is actually the subject of the question, so no auxiliary is needed after it. What happens when you press this button? The TV connects to the internet. Who irons your clothes? My mom does. My mom irons my clothes. So the answer to who is my mom, which is the subject of the sentence. So in the question, who is the subject, and you can't use does because you're asking about the subject. Now pay attention to the way WH questions about the predator or object are made. What time do you usually have lunch? Around 2 p.m. When does Tim want to leave? I think he leaves at 6 in the morning.
So that's it for today. If you found this video useful, please make sure to subscribe and hit the like button, and let me know in the comments what video you want me to record for you next. Bye!